So as I was saying in the last episode, we'll be pulling the information from the work hour table. We're grouping it by office ID, as well as we're making sure that we're having the count of employee ID greater than 5. Now, what this is going to show is that the office that has the number of employees that is greater than 5. So if I were to run this query, we'd see here that Office ID 2 and Office 3 has more than 5 employees. This Office 3 currently has 8 employees and this has 6 employees. So, the management at Econocar Rental Limited could use this information to help balance out the office, make sure there's a equal amount of workforce in each office. So yeah. All right, so the next query uses a subquery as a relation. Now, in this query, it's to be able to find information on a a specific employee and which office they work in. Now, maybe this could be used to like if they need to find like if there are complaints from a customer about a specific employee, they could use this query to be able to find that specific employee as well as which office they're working in so that they would be able to deal with the situation, handle it better, and protect the reputation of the business. So as we could see here, we're selecting the name, the employee ID, and the office ID from the employee table, where the first name and now the subquery comes in, where the first name and now we're selecting the first name from the employee table, where the name is Rickard. So as we could see here, if I launch this query, we would be able to find out that, okay, here we go, we have Rickard's full name, Rickard Gadsden, we have his employee ID, as well as we have the office he's working in. So maybe Rickard has been doing bad customer service, for example, there have been complaints against him. They could use this information to find which office he's from and his employee ID so they could be able to better handle the situation. Okay, moving on to the next query. The next query is to be able to find out which employee is a supervisor to other employees. Now, the way the employees work at Econocar Rental Limited is that employees could actually supervise one another. You could have one employee supervising many employees. This query aims to find out, sorry, which employees are supervisors to which other employees. Now, this would be beneficial maybe they would like to give a promotion to an employee, for example. They want to see how much work he's putting in. They could be able to use this query to find out, okay, how many employees he supervises regularly. If he supervises a lot, maybe he might get a little promotion. Maybe he might get a reward. Maybe they might ease him off some employees. Shift some employees off to other supervisors so that he doesn't have to handle so much. So this query basically uses a self-join because all the information is actually coming from one table, and that's the employee table. So we could actually see here that in this code we're selecting the first name and the last name and we're naming it as employee name. However, notice we give it an alias of A and then we're giving this the alias of B, but we're also pulling the same information, the first name, the last name, but these will be called supervisors. And then we're pulling the office ID as well. So as you can see, we're pulling from employee alias A, employee alias B, and we want it to be where the employee IDs are not the same. Otherwise, we'd find duplicate information like an employee supervisor himself, which would not make sense. However, what we do want is where the office IDs equal the same, because that way we'll be able to find out which employees supervise one another in the same office, and we're ordering it by office ID. So if I were to run this query, we would get the following result. Okay, so here we go. So we have the employee name, we have the supervisors and the office ID showing up. As you can see, there are 220 results, quite a bit results. So first off, like I said earlier, one supervisor can supervise many employees. So taking the first example here, we have Alistair supervising 3 different employees. As we could see here, one, two, three, and all of these are supervised by him. So yeah, the Econocar rental managers could be able to use this information to find out who supervises who and make their work easier. All right, moving on to the view. Now, this is actually a view query. Now, what this does is that it creates a view to be able to show the number of employees for each office. So there are multiple offices at Econocar Rental Limited. This will display the name of the office as well as the total number of employees in all of them, right? So as we could see here, we have the code. So create or replace view. Now this replace is just in case the view was there already. It would replace it, overwrite it basically. We're naming it office view. We're taking office name as well as the number of employees per office, as well as we're selecting the office name and the employee IDs as count once again because this will uh, add up the IDs to get the total number of employees from it. So if I run, no, actually, sorry, not run it. If I switch over to views, you'll see office view, and then when it loads, you'll see all the necessary information. You'll see the total number of employees at which offices. So if I were to look at data, you would see, I'm sorry, you would see the office name, you would see the total number of employees for that office. So, for example, Bogan has 5 employees, Cole has 8 employees, Price has 5, Brad has 2 employees. So, this is a view that would be able to help the managers at Econocar Rental Limited see their employees at their employee distribution, sorry, at the different offices. Now moving on to the next one, it's actually using that same view but as a query instead. Sorry, as a relation instead. Now what this is that it it basically just makes things super easy for the managers at Econocar Rental Limited. So using this view as a relation, I've decided to get the total number of employees overall in the business, right? So simply put, we just select the number of employees per offices as a sum, and we name it total employees, and we select it from the office view which we just created. Now, when I execute this, you would be able to see that we have a total of 50 employees in the business. Now, moving on to the final thing of this project, and that's the trigger. Now, this trigger was created so that when a employee is adding a new vehicle to the database, they cannot put zero as rental price. This will give them an error because maybe they're adding vehicles, they're adding the prices, and they accidentally made a mistake and put zero. This will prevent them from having a vehicle with zero as a rental price. So as we could see here, the code is as follows. So once again, create or replace uh, zero in rental price. This is before they insert an car for each row. It would check to see if the rental price is less than zero, then it would raise an application error and a pop-up message would say the rental price should not be zero. This helps once again to make sure that there are no errors when executing this. So if I were to go and execute something, if I were to go insert something, sorry, so let me insert a code. So I'll go into SQL commands. And here I want to insert into the table car number, car type, color, car model, rental price, insurance number. I have relevant values for each, but I have zero for rental price. If I were to hit run, you'll see that I'll be prompted with an error message saying invalid SQL statement because this isn't supposed to execute. I'm sorry, there seems to be a slight problem with the program currently because earlier I ran and I actually got this error message where it says the rental price should not be zero. It actually lets you know that the car rental should not be zero, line 3, and it gives you back your insert statement, lets you see the error. So there we go. So overall, those were all the main queries for Econocar Rental Limited. As you could see here, I hit run again, and this time it gave me the accurate error. There we go. It cannot be inserted into into the car table because the rental price should not be zero. So this is it for my demonstration for all my code, and I hope you enjoy. Have a good day.